Thank you very much. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're calling right now the technical assistant at the sports unit, Vincent Ogumbile, to give his welcome speech.
Please, a round of applause for him, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What a privilege to stand before you tonight, surrounded by the electric energy of Nigeria's lively youth and sport enthusiasts. On behalf of everyone at the Nest and the office of the National Youth Leader of the APC, I extend a heartfelt welcome to each and every one of you for gracing this special occasion, an evening with Malam Shehu Dikko, Chairman of the National Sports Commission. My name is Vincent Ogungbile, and I'm standing on existing protocols. I salute all our distinguished guests, especially those who've come from afar to join us. Your presence here makes this place truly remarkable. As the great Muhammad Ali once said, champions aren't made in dreams. Champions are made for something that have deep meaning inside them, a desire, a dream, and a vision. Tonight, we are here to share that vision, to ignite our collective passion for sports, and to explore its boundless potential as a business and a force for unity. Looking around you, this room is melting of talent, sports professionals, entrepreneurs, influencers, and passionate sports supporters, all united by the love for sports and the love for our country. This is more than an event. It's a networking powerhouse, a chance to connect, to collaborate, and shape the future of Nigeria's sports. Let me take a moment to express profound gratitude to those who made this possible. To His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for championing initiatives that uplift Nigeria's youth. To our visionary leader, the national chairman of the APC, Professor Nentawe Ilwadzda, whose unwavering support has turned the Nest into a beacon of youth empowerment. And to our dynamic youth leader, Honorable Dayo Israel, whose tireless efforts have brought us together tonight. A special shout out to our dedicated team at the Nest. Your hard work has transformed the Nest into a vibrant hub of youth energy, innovation, and community. Now, let's talk about why we are here. The Nest isn't just a venue, it's the first youth hub of its kind for any political party in Nigeria. A trailblazer in fostering unity and innovation. From our sports-related activities, like our match viewing events that have kicked off, to our youth enrichment programs, including our upcoming digital training to empower tech-savvy innovators, and our vibrant book club sparkling intellectual growth, among other initiatives. We are building a community where youth dreams big and act boldly. Tonight's event, an evening with Malam Shehu Dikko, is about driving into business of sports, how it creates jobs, inspires communities, and drives progress. We will discuss strategies to elevate Nigerian sports from grassroots pitches to global arenas. And you will hear from the man himself, our esteemed guest, Malam Shehu Dikko. Oh, and speaking of Malam Shehu Dikko, did I mention the rumor that he once tried to dribble a professional Super Eagles player at a friendly match? So let's just say that his passion for sports is as fierce off it as it is on it. I'm personally thrilled about tonight's possibilities. As someone who believes sports can unite us across divides, I dream of Nigeria, a Nigeria where every youth has access to world-class facilities, where talent meets opportunities, and where the Nest leads the charge in making that happen. I hope tonight sparks ideas, forge partnerships, and inspires us to all score big for our nation. And while you are here, please kindly follow us on all our social media platforms at APC Youth Wing and also at the Nest Socials. To everyone, especially to our distinguished guests, I wish you an evening filled with happiness, with inspiration, with laughter, and with meaningful connections. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Standing on all existing protocols, we want to give you an energetic performance tonight. Vicky Strings in Gallant Sax. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for them. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for them. What a wonderful performance by Vicky Strings and Gallant Sax. Thank you.
Still standing on existing protocols. Let us, ladies and gentlemen, he is the National Youth Leader of the All Progressives Congress, Africa's largest political party, leading a youth wing of over 5 million members across Nigeria and the diaspora, an alumnus of Harvard, Cambridge, Wharton, and Duke. He has pioneered groundbreaking youth initiatives, empowered young leaders, and opened historic doors for youth participation in governance.
Globally recognized, from being hosted by Queen Elizabeth II to being invited by Obama administration at the White House, and even receiving a standing ovation at the United Nations, he is truly a voice of the next generation. Ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding applause, welcome a man of faith, a reformer, an author, and an inspiration to millions, Dr. Dio Israel. And also, our special guest of honor. He began his remarkable journey in 2004 as the FIFA Goal Project Manager, overseeing developmental projects that strengthened football infrastructure across our nation. From there, he went on to serve as a consultant to Sports Committee of House of Representatives, where his expertise helped important legislative framework for sports development.
His leadership and vision saw him appointed twice in 2014 and again in 2019 as the chairman of the League Management Company, where he steered the Nigerian Professional Football League through major reforms, professionalizing club operations, and restoring credibility to domestic football.
Today, he carries an even greater responsibility as the chairman of the National Sports Commission, appointed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where he is charting a new path for Nigerian sports, rooted in professionalism, youth empowerment, and global competitiveness. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in receiving to the stage a reformer, a visionary, and a true servant of Nigerian sports, Malam Shehu Dikko.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another special edition of An Evening With. I want to thank everyone who've been here, aides of the presidents, aides of the chairman, members and chairpersons of board and parastatals, senior executive of the administration, friends of the administration, foreign guests. We're honored to have you in our midst and we're grateful for your presence. Members of our party, the ruling party, young leaders of Nigeria from across various sectors, and of course, the special people of the media who are present here. We recognize you, we appreciate you. Thank you for being here with An Evening with our own man, our friend and our brother, the number one sport man in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Shehu Dikko.
Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, do you think that you're living the life now? Do you think that you're there?
Well, I don't know. Not really, but it's a huge privilege to have an opportunity to do something that you love, to do something that naturally you do for free because you love it, you are passionate about it. So it's not about living the life, it's about making a difference. Because those that know us over the years, we have worked our way out somewhere else on our own path, doing our own thing. And then sports is only about passion, it's about development, it's about seeing people happy, it's about having the privilege to manage the happiness and the passion of over 200 million Nigerians. Not many people get that opportunity to do it, and so we want to do it. It's something that we have been doing forever, and we're still, we can't thank the president enough for the opportunity to do it. And
so how did you get into sport? How did the sport journey started?
Well, the story has been told many years ago, and naturally, I'm born with sports in my veins. I grew up with sports. So when I was a kid, it's only about football, sports in the house. I miss my lessons and everything. At some point, we have to have a football pitch in the house, just because I don't have to be going out and looking for where to play. And so it has been there. And even at that young age, let me do it this way, I think it's fine this way. And even at that young age, all the teams in the neighborhood and everybody, I'm the one coordinating everything, the team manager or whatever, the jerseys, everything at home to do that. So I'm always doing that. The first money I was given in my life, I went to buy a football boot. That I can remember, somebody gave me money that I can spend in my life. I did that. And so, like 40-something years ago or thereabout, one day I was going out to play football. And my mother called me. In those days, sports is not like this. And my mother told me that, look, son, why do you always football? Why can't you always leave this as your passion? Just focus on your school and make sure you do your studies very well. In the future, you come and become the leader of the sports people. That's what she said.
Wow.
And I didn't bother. I just slept in the night. In those days, the TVs are not like everywhere. There's only a room in the house where you watch TV. In the night, we are watching the news. And they show the Minister of Sport then, who's the chairman of the commission, Buba Ahmed. That's 1981, 82. And she said, see, if you study well, you should be like him. So since that time, I'm conscious about it. It has always been in me, from primary school to secondary school, everywhere there is sports, I'm there. Even when I grow up, I become what I did. We are doing our practice, quantity surveying, this one and stuff like that. Sport is always in me. I'm always involved. Anytime I got a chance, my colleague is here. We will go abroad with Amaju Pinnick and my colleagues to go to any courses we can see to do with sports.
Wow.
We used to go and do that. And at that time, we would look at ourselves and say, look, in the future, we want to come and be the leaders of sports. So it just comes naturally. It's not something that you make a decisive decision that is what I want to do. But it's just naturally coming, and we follow it through. But over the years, I never left the core business that I'm supposed to do. That's why I'm able to do the sports the way I'm doing it, because it's not taking it as a career for you to sport. No, all over the world, if you go to the big clubs in the world and everybody, you will find that they will tell you this is the chairman of this club. But before they introduce the chairman of the club, or the leader, they will tell you this is the business Mr. A, Mr. B is running, and he's the chairman of this club. This is the business Mr. ABC is running, and this is the professional. So that is how it is. And that is what now we are brought to the table in Nigerian sport. So that's why you see we are doing it. We just love doing it.
So did you ever try to be an athlete yourself?
Yeah, of
or
course.
You always wanted to be a
Of course,
sport? Because I see you on the field. There's a picture of you, your jersey on the field playing football, and you had your hands like this.
I play football also tomorrow, and I try to do that. But when your parents tell you to do something, and you try to go another way, nobody doesn't work for you. I was clearly a very good footballer. Everybody can say it, even today, the way I play. But that was not what my parents wanted me to do. This is actually what she wanted me to do.
Wow.
So at any time I try to go and play football, I break my hand. I broke this hands like 7 times, this one like twice, because I had to listen to what I was told to do. So it becomes the passion that it's supposed to be. But if I could have wanted to play, I could have been the best that I could have been. Really.
So you've talked about what your parent wanted you to do. What are you telling your son about football? To be a manager or to be an athlete?
No. I wasn't forced to do it. I was advised to do it. So to be honest, my son is doing something else that he wanted to do because that is the way it's supposed to be. He loves the computers. He loves everything. So he's a computer engineer. So let us do what he wants to do. I don't have to do that. My daughters are the ones playing football, actually.
So aside from football, what would you consider your other best sport?
I'm for every sport. I love sports. I'm always around every sport. Yes, football is the one I wanted to play, but I play other sports as well that I could play. But I don't watch movies growing up. I don't watch anything. The only thing you see me watching is sports on the TV. That's the only thing I watch on TV.
And you've been winning a lot of stellar awards recently. There was the basketball, football as well. But is there something about the female that works with you? That the women have been coming with goals and trophies and all of that?
No.
The Dikko power, all the women have...
Really. I've been saying it. It's an opinion that we believe it is. Women have always come through for Nigerian sports. It doesn't have to be with us. If you look at the history, our medals, women, once we support them, they always come through with us. They have always been winning. So it's not about when the special treatment or what. Yes, we take very much care of them, more delicate. He knows. Some of the people that work with us know. She's there looking at me. She knows how we deal with the women. Very delicate, not from time because they are special. And in sports, once they made up their mind to do something, they always get through with it. And over the years, it has always been the case. Even before I came in here today, I was hosting the small kids, 10, 14, 13, the highest, I think, 8 years old, that went to South Africa, gymnastic people, and they all came back with medals. And they're all young girls, So, it's always the case.
Honestly, Chairman, I think
they serve us the shame
effect,
always to do that,
I think the Dikko effect works with women more than the men. Please give me a big hand for the women who are here now. So you're getting ready for the youth games. I think it's Asaba.
Yeah.
What's your expectation?
Well, it's not about winning. We all tell the people the youth games is about the foundation. Mr. President is very, very particular about what we are trying to do with sports, and grassroots sports is one of the key fundamentals of what he wants us to drive. He even appointed a senior special assistant on grassroots sports who is working with me, just helping to get that building blocks together. And it key into our long-term plans and to our vision of what we are trying to do. We said we have to reset the way we do things, meaning we have to go back to the foundation, to go back to the basics. And how did that one start? It's about grassroots sports, school sports, and stuff like that. So our eyes, it's not about who wins, who doesn't win. It's about getting the talent that we can latch into today, that we can work with, that we can promote, that we can plan their career. We do things very, I don't know how to put it. In those days, you want to just go to Olympics and you go to sleep until 2 weeks to Olympics, then you want to just carry people to go. You can never win anything. It is today you can see the athletes that is, okay, this is a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, and then you compare the numbers. Assuming it's a 100-meter athlete, for example, so okay, the world record is this, African record is this, the youth record is this, and this is what this athlete is doing under this condition. Then you can project. Maybe it's 5 seconds, 10 seconds of the phase, 2 seconds, whatever it is. That if you put the effort and plan very well, the athlete can reach the podium at some point. That's why we have what we call the Elite Athletes Development and Podium Committee. After the youth games now, those committees are there. They will pick all the good athletes and we'll put them in our program.
Mentor
them, you plan for them. And then over the years now, in the next few years, you see them appearing at the podium and people will be shocked. Where are they coming from? No, they're coming through this system. So we are telling all the states, try to participate in all the sports you can. It doesn't matter whether you win or not. At this stage, at the youth games, it's not about who wins, who doesn't win. It's about the future. And we are even thinking to probably in the future we create like benefits. The number of talent we get from your state, we can qualify to give you some grants or to develop more facilities for you for bringing those new athletes to do that, as encouragement to do that. So that clearly solves the problem about you must win at all times. Just get the right talent, bring them to the table. They become national properties at the moment, and then we move from there. So we hope with these youth games, we can get more athletes that we can put on the table, that by 2028 Olympics, some of them could be near the podium or on the podium or what have you to do that. You can see we are being intentional and deliberate about it. That is why in the last sport festival, we created what we call the invited junior athletes, the IJA, meaning all the junior athletes we have discovered in the last youth games, we are able to pull them together, brought them under the commission, train them, and put them to compete with the elite. They competed as a 38 state of the federation. We have 37 in Abuja, but 38 is the junior athletes. And you can see they are already competing at that level with the best of the best. And you can see what they did now when they went to Algeria, the Africa Youth Games. The athletes team, Nigeria, were something else. And they are all, some of them are just from the WAEC. And they delivered the medals. And now we are even being given the right to host the next Africa Youth Games because they know that it's part of our fundamental passion and foundation to going forward. So that's basically what it is. We are putting the building blocks.
So I'm going to ask two more questions before I open the floor for the audience to ask that question. Before I open the floor, let's address the elephant in the room. So recently, my goals have been changing. I wish I could lower my age and go into sport, maybe like basketball and football. The motivation is that, $100,000 with nice flats in Abuja. What does that mean for the sport industry?
It means a lot. It means so much. That is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for you. He's very bold. He's very decisive. If he believes in something, he do it the right way. And he's always think about the future. Some people didn't understand why would the president would just wake up and when they are expecting to say he will give them this national award and something, and he went to this level.
Above and beyond.
Because that is one of the key foundation of building for the future. Now, every athlete now knows that Nigeria is with you. If you do the right thing, Nigeria is always behind you. And the reward is enormous. So everybody will give their best to do that. Everybody will train hard to arrive at that level. So he has made things easy for us. I can tell you, when I went to meet the Tigers, they are playing quarterfinals tomorrow against Senegal. Not the women, the men.
Yes.
They are playing quarterfinals tomorrow against Senegal. When I meet them here training, after they played a friendly match with Guinea, I didn't say much. I just laugh at them and say, okay, I wish you luck. You are going for a tournament, but we get your back. Mr. President have got your back. You win, we do what we have to do. So they know. So they are already motivated. They didn't bother to ask for what is in there for us, what is there. They all said we are coming back to get our own 100K. So
is it too late for me to join the team, sir?
And let me give you something. The female team, the tag race, when they are playing the semi-final, I don't know who watched it because it's on start times for the female Afro basket. They were losing up to like 2 minutes to the end of the game with Senegal in the semi-final. And the game was stopped because Senegal came purposely to defeat Nigeria. And the fans that were having the drums and everything got tired of drumming, everything. They dropped everything. And they started shouting, 100,000 gone. Abuja flat gone. The next thing, the girls started playing like they are possessed. They recovered the points, they won the game, they end up winning the trophy. So now everybody knows that the country got you. Some people were very upset when one of our athletes now said, she wanted to dump Nigeria to go and play for Turkey and stuff like that. The whole thing is that, Nigeria doesn't look for their athletes. Now the president have shown this is what we can do.
Yes.
And already we are even having conversation. Probably we're going to have a standard formula on this, which should be standardized, which should be put on the template, so everybody knows. Very soon the president will sign it up, so everybody will know that from day one. If I'm going to do this. This is what is so for me. So you can make a plan if you're an athlete. In the next 4 years, I want to win this, and this is what I want to get. You plan towards it, and you deliver. You get it. All over the world, Nigeria now is among the top 10 that rewards their athletes for winning something in the world. So that has been
The Dikko effect.
No, not Dikko. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu effect. We are just the
Renewed hope.
you know, we are just the full soldiers that have the privilege to implement what the president wants for Nigerian sports. Just yesterday, somebody sent me a picture of the president playing football. Then 2004 or thereabout, he was playing football when he was the governor of Nigeria. So he's already part of what we are doing. So we are only helping to deliver his vision for sports in Nigeria.
Absolutely. You know, I still have so much, but I have to open the floor for the audience. But before I do that, do you think that in your tenure, in this renewed hope tenure, we would host a major global competition in Nigeria, like maybe AFCON or the World Cup?
Do that. And if you look at it, this year alone, I think we have hosted almost 10 continental events in this country. We have done the major one. We have done, for example, the Africa Under-18, Under-20 Athletics Championship. About 45 countries were here. And we even rescued Africa because it was Algeria supposed to host. They pulled out, and we are able to come in. Within 2 months, we are able to deliver. They can't believe it. You know, so we hosted the African volleyball for the female as well. The customs supports that. Just last week, we finished the African beach volleyball as well. Jabi Mall hosted it. About 35 countries were there. Wow. Those that were there, they see it. We even hosted the arm wrestling in Nigeria. About 28 countries were there. You know, everything. We did the karate. Now, even in 2 days' time, it's taekwondo. Wow. On Saturday, it's UFC. Wow. Even Kamaru is coming here to do. So, we are already building the structures and the foundation to do that. And therefore, that's why we are bidding now to host the Commonwealth Games in 2030. And we are also bidding to host the Africa Games in 2031. Because if you are hosting the Commonwealth in 2030, it's easy for you to host the Africa Games again in 2031. So we get value for money.
Infrastructure is there.
Because everything is there. It just sits on the same structure to deliver. And now we have gotten the 2027 Africa Youth Games to do that. So we want to host anything that we can host. There are plans to even push for a bid for the Female World Cup along with our neighbors in Africa, in West Africa, maybe 2031, 32. It doesn't matter. We want to host anything that we can host. This is the reason why the president is investing also a lot of money in getting the infrastructure to work. If you look at the budget of sports this year, there's a lot of funding that has been full through to get the infrastructure to work. It's all part of the vision to do that. And the success of what we have hosted is unbelievable. All the people that came in say, oh, wow, this is Nigeria. We never know. The kind of thing they are hearing outside Nigeria is different from what they are seeing on ground. To do that, and everything was seamless. And I must give credit to all the people working for the government. For example, when we are doing the African Under-18, Under-20, you know that we have over 3,000 people coming. Just one phone call with the Minister of Interior, another achiever, say, look, this is how we do these things. He approved the free visa for everybody. Wow. Everybody was given visa-free. Everybody was, there was no hassles. Before you arrived, your visa it was with you. And he dedicated special desk at the airport. As you arrive for that tournament, you just pass through, come into the country. So no hassles. So nobody goes with the negative thing about Nigeria. It's difficult, this one to do that. That's what it's going to do. You know, so everybody is complimenting what we are doing in all this drive. And I believe the more we host, the more we promote, the more everything will come together for the benefit of the country. Okay,
moderators, get the microphones ready. Let's get the microphones ready. We'll take a couple of questions. While we're getting the microphones and all of that, tell us a bit about the RAINS project, the Renewed Hope Initiative for Nigerian Sport Economy.
Well, that's the tag for the strategy document of Nigerian sports. You know, we all know that the president took the bold decision to scrap the Federal Ministry of Sports and bring back the National Sports Commission. The whole objective is to make sports more professional and to make it to be run in a more quasi-private sector way. So he removed, in his own words, he said sports will never thrive under bureaucracy. So the president tried to remove the bureaucracy, bring the commission, and elevated the commission so high, the commission only sits on his table. The commission reports to the president for whatever they need to do, so he's answerable to him. And now said, go and set up and create a sports economy in this country. How do you create a sports economy? You have to go back to the foundation. So we now came up with this document, that called the RINS document, that's now started delivering this vision of Mr. President with three pillars. We say we have to reset what we are doing, we have to refocus what we are doing, and we have to relaunch what we are doing. What do you mean by resetting? I've spoken a little bit about it. It's the fact that for many years, we are only more concerned in this country with participation in tournaments. Everybody cares. It's about the World Cup. It's about the Olympics. It's about the Commonwealth Games. Nobody cares about the development on the domestic stage. We just wake up to 2 weeks tournament, carry our billions, and basically go on tourism to another country. Because we'll go there, we'll spend our hard-earned dollars. We might not win. Most times we don't win. We win sometimes. But it doesn't add any value to the economy here.
Yes.
So we said we have to reset our thinking and be more development focused. And being more concerned about tournaments abroad is consumption, because you are taking your money to go and spend somewhere. But if you are more developmental driven, you are doing production, because we are investing money in the system, and we are producing new athletes, we are producing young ones, and we are creating the economic activities around the country that will now create wealth across the country to do that. That is the first one we said we have to reset. The second one, we have to refocus. What do you mean by refocus? Refocus means we have to be intentional and deliberate about it. Whatever we are doing, is it legislation? Is it the actions we are taking? Is it the providing the enablers for both the private sector and the public sector to work together to deliver sports? We have to be intentional and deliberate about it and work out everything we do the right way. And then the third one, we have to launch our sports. We have to make our sport more appealing to people who want to participate, and also more appealing to the private sector that want to invest in it, and more appealing for the public sector also that will provide the infrastructure to drive. And the only way to do that is making the system look good. All the crises, all the issues has to be resolved outside. Let everybody feel good about sports. And I'm sure now everybody in Nigeria is feeling the factor of sport. Sport is one of what is making everybody happy to do that. So that's the foundation of what the RINS is all about. And what are the objectives of what we are trying to do? We said we, as the ones delivering this process, we deliver it through like 4 processes. First, even the commission itself. We have to reset it to make it more professional, get the right people, we can employ the right people to help us, consultant, partners, staff, to deliver, so that we can deliver professionally, We have to bring in the private sector to support everything we are doing. So we have to also create the incentives. We are all working on that the private sector will come in and key in and get things done. And we have to also refocus the sport federations. We have about 42 sport federations in Nigeria. They are what we see as our operating officers, because the sport federations are the ones actually on the key that deliver the sports. We are with the legislators providing the enablers to get that done. So we have to also make sure the sport federations are working well. What we did, the first thing we did when we came in is to appoint the chief operating officers for the federations, who are bringing from the private sector, who can be able to build the strategy, bring in the investment to get the federations to work the right way. And then we have to also invest in grassroots sports. We have discussed about it. We are doing so much now with the Federal Minister of Education, bringing back school sports, bringing everything down, and then look at what we are doing with all the youth, because that's the foundation of the sports to grow in the country. So, and then we told all the federations, you must be doing domestic sports, either your leagues, either your everything, before we can support you to go for the foreign sports. And now we can see the activities across the 6 sports. Every sport is already hosting tournaments, everything. That's the economy already being created. So, by and large, what we said, what is the final outcome we are looking at after doing all this? We said sports should be a major driver of the economy. It's no more entertainment. It's an economic platform. So we said sports should be doing at least 3% of the GDP. We believe we are even doing more now, but we just need to be modest about it, and let's start working with the relevant authorities to count it. But sports should be doing at least 3% of GDP, and then sports should be putting at least 3 million people in the job, both direct, indirect, and induced jobs. In Nigeria, we can do more. It's 200 million people we have. Even now, if you do the proper calculations, I'm sure sports have more than 3 billion people being employed through sports, either direct, indirect, or induced. But that's what we have to do that. We said we should control at least 5% of the international talent export market. Because with 200 million people, we can bring talent that we can sell to the whole world to dominate sports, and the revenues can come back here to help us develop more of our sports and more talent. Brazil, Argentina are doing that with football. We can do with all sports because Nigeria is one of the countries that almost every sport we can have talent that can play because of our numbers to do that. And that will earn us foreign exchange as well. And then we have to work massively with our infrastructures to make sure that we have sport infrastructure across the country, both the professional sports infrastructure and also the community sports infrastructure. Even tomorrow, I'm having a meeting with the Algon people. They are coming to meet us. The idea is for each local government, there should be a small sports center, stadium, and then community centers everywhere. Even under the bridge, everywhere we see a space, there should be a sports center being developed somewhere.
This is amazing. This is amazing.
We are working to get that done. So this has to be done with the private sector, with the government, and everybody involved to do that. So we are all working on that. And then at the end of the day, sports also is our social national asset. Because as a national asset, that we call it, it's sports that break all our fault lines. Once sports is in the play, it's in play. Nobody cares who you are, what you are, who you worship, why you worship, who's your brother, who's your sister. We see ourselves as all Nigerians. So sport is very fundamental to us for keeping us together and getting us to be more productive. Once sport is working well, the productivity in the country increases across all levels. So this is the final outcome of what we are looking to put in play with this document. And I can tell you, a few weeks ago, it was Ortega here that sent me the tweet. The Indian Prime Minister himself made a tweet that the Indian Parliament have taken a decision, have taken a strategy document to now restructure sport in India and to make it a key fundamental of the socio-economic fabric of India. And this is their strategy document. The Indian Prime Minister published it just about 4 weeks ago with Araba. When I look at it,
It was rich.
it was a washout of our document. Doesn't mean they copied our document.
Yes.
It shows that our thinking is aligning with the global thinking.
Yes.
Doesn't mean they took I'm not saying they copied our document. No. But it means what we are trying to do here over a year ago is already what everybody is trying to do. So we are clearly doing something right.
Yes.
It is in the right framework. So that's the reason document we are doing that. And thanks to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for giving us the platform to do this and to deliver this.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a lady. There's a lady at the back there, and then I'll come forward. So I want to, ladies first. Don't forget that under Dikko, the women are winning.
You can share with some people.
Please share the rings material around.
The ones that they have.
Okay, your name and your questions,
please.
I am Omolola Joy Olatunji from Nigeria Arm Wrestling. I'm the secretary to Abuja chapter. I want to thank
Don't worry, it will go round. It will go round.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, sir. I could remember the last championship we held. You were there, and you wrestled, and we thank God that you won. But the thing there is that, sir, we hosted 22 African countries, and we won. We won with 24 golds, and 19 silver and 19 bronze. Then Cameroon came second, and Ghana came third. But, sir, I heard you say that you support the wrestlers, both the Falcons, you supported them. But for arm wrestling, sir, we didn't see anything. And in fact, right now, they're supposed to even go to Bulgaria for another championship, but there's no support. So, sir, are you going to help us, sir? Because even personally, myself, we've been funding everything by ourselves. So, sir, we want you to step into our...
Thank you. That question is, that observation is noted. Thank you. Next, I think we'll take a couple. Yes. I'll come to the front. I'll take the gentleman with the red cap. I'll come to you, sir.
The Minister of Sports, the Chairman of Sports Commission, you have been elevated. The leader, our exceptional leader, the youth leader of the APC, Dr. Dayo Israel, I stand on the existing protocols, if there were any. I just want to thank God for this platform that Brother Dikko is present here. I want to thank God for the creativity of our youth leader. They're full of energies with creativity, which we applaud. Please, let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very much. And it's working for us. A lot of people couldn't have come here. Some of us have thought we were elderly ones and other things. Yes. Okay, thank you. Sir. Thank you. Well, we know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a very, very rugged human being when he wants to do anything. And he has gone forth to do this, putting right people in the right place. What I want to ask is that, the chairman, sir, is that what do you want to do with overloading the system, being intentional for our educational system? Because this thing we are talking about has to do blending with the grassroots, with the Federal Minister of Education at the local government, which you mentioned. I think we need to be intentional to go to schools. What plans do we have to go to schools with their curriculum to involve all these strategies?
Thank you. And there's somebody on the side, yes.
After 3, I would answer.
After 3, then we'll take another vote. Question, 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. My name's Honorable Danjuma Abdul Masu. I'm the Niger State Chairman Sports Commission. My questions are simple. You have said so much about private sector partnership. And the National Assembly have done so much while you are a consultant there. I knew the role you play in making sure that sports have the rightful place in terms of private partnership participation. But I will also urge you more to put more effort in making sure that National Assembly supports our vision by taking more than 40% of Nigerian youth off the street. In the sense that these private sectors must give special considerations by establishing sporting clubs within their limitations of their budget, not only in sponsorship of championships, but also operating their own private clubs where Nigerian youth will find jobs in those clubs, in those industries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Chairman, if I may crave your indulgence, most of these have been comment. I need questions, tough questions.
There are questions. Let me glide
Okay.
into.
Okay. Oh yeah. Hold on. We'll take this straight.
Let's not confuse. I know what they want to, why they are heading to. I will start with the. You said that there was no support, but the Sport Commission funded the last international tournament 100% to let you have the tournament in Abuja here at the sports at the National Stadium. So that is support. And then you should know that there's process for every support. The Arm Wrestling Federation is still being reorganized and coming to be registered as a federation. Because if you are not captured as a federation, as a sport federation, you can't actually receive government grants and support just like that. So the arm wrestling are still in the process of that, but we still have to find a way to support that development as part of our grassroots support. So we are working on that. And that was why I was there myself. The people from the presidency were there at that opening ceremony and everything. And that's the first tournament you have hosted in Nigeria. We cannot fund every federation 100%. You also have to, as a federation, make your effort to bring in the private sector to complement what you are doing. Because we can't sit down as a federation, you want to be chairman of a federation, and you wait only government to be writing checks for you. No, it has to be complementary what we are doing. But what I assure you is that we are for all sports, and whatever we need to do, we are going to do, and we keep pushing to make sure that every sport gets the deserved value they want to get. You spoke about what we are doing. I mentioned it in my comment here, that taking back sports to schools, one of the fundamentals we are doing. If we have followed what we have been doing, we have been engaging right from the Nuga, Naisega, Naipoga, that is the tertiary institution games, and we have, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, there is a budget line in the National Sport Commission budget, which, as usual, is one of the President Bola Tinubu's thinking out of the box and taking the road less traveled. We have a budget line in our budget for school sports. It has never been like that before. So it shows we have been intentional about it to support what we are doing. And in doing that, we have now engaged clearly with the Federal Ministry of Education. If you have been following what we are doing, we have signed an MOU, myself and the Minister of Education, to bring back school sports the way it used to be. And we have set up a technical committee. We have also set up a technical committee, both with staff from the Commission, from the Ministry of Education, and some private sector, with myself and the Minister of Education as co-chairs, to now restructure and bring back the school sports the way it is. And it's simple what we are doing. What we are saying is that going forward, to get school sports to work, we have to have what we call centers of excellence across all levels of education. So now we are working, we have already identified the universities. There will be at least one university in each zone of the country that will be tagged as Center of Excellence for Sports. So in that university, we will now work with the private sector, with the government, to put the infrastructure, to put the coaches, to put everything. And then across that level of education, any athletes that we find within that level that is good enough can be transferred to those particular schools where they can further their education and also have the right training to do that.
That's a good one.
So, and the reason why we are working with the education is to make, that will make the transfer very, very seamless. Because if you identify you today in this university, we just need to request and the transfer will be very, very seamless and you are moving there. I've had the honor to address all the vice chancellors, to address all the rectors and the polytechnics provosts and provosts of the College of Education and rectors, to align them to this level. And then that's at the tertiary level. At the secondary school level, we are also working out to create at least one center of excellence in each state. We will work with the unity schools to start with. It will be the same concept. So for each state, we have a center of excellence secondary school. At that level, we will also pull all the good athletes and put them in those schools. We train them, we give them scholarship, we follow what they are doing, and we can now see the progression. And the same thing, we are already engaging with the state government to also have at least, there should be one primary school in each local government. That will be a center of excellence for sports. It will be the same kind of concept. We'll work with them, put the infrastructures, put everything. Private sector will help. So right from the age of 8 or whatever, 9 or whatever, if you are good in sport and you are identified, you go to those schools. You can, at that point, we are not going to give you, like, we give you scholarship and we pay your parents. Because if a parent knows that at that age, if my child is good, can get money for me, every parent will encourage their kids to play sports, to do that. So you can see from the primary school, secondary school, university, there's a pathway that you can, your education is not being compromised and your sports potentials is also not being compromised. So that's the plan we are trying to get. The committee is working and we are doing that. And I must thank my brother, the Minister of Education, who stood by this to get this done the right way. If you have followed up, even last month, we sent the university students to Germany to compete at the World University Games. That it has been a long time government sponsored that program for the university students. We have done it under this government now, and they have done to do that. So school sports is very key. The National Assembly issue, we are all working on that. That's why we say we are intentional and deliberate about it. There are so many legislations that we are working on with the National Assembly that we can bring forward that will now provide the incentives for the private sector to do what you are saying they should do and also to do even more. In fact, part of the major thing we are working on is creating what we call the National Sport Development Fund. That fund will pool resources and bring resources outside what the government could do that can fund sports, fund infrastructure, fund maintenance and everything. So all that is being worked, and the National Assembly are already working very hard on that. And yes, you know, I was privileged many years ago, 20 years ago, to consult for the National Assembly on even drafting the National Sport Commission law. So I know how to go about that. We know how to go about doing that, and definitely will be brilliant at the end of the day. But we have to be cautious about it. Make sure that you think through it. Whatever you are putting on the table should be something that will be sustainable, not just thinking for the now. No, for the now, for the tomorrow, and for the future. That's what we are trying to work on.
Thank you. Amazing. Okay, there's a gentleman in white who'll start from you. Go ahead. The microphone is behind you.
Thank you, my
Yes,
leader,
yes.
and thank you, Shehu Dikko, our National Sport Commission chairman. It is a privilege to me to ask this question. Sir, please, my own is not actually a question. Recently, e-sport federation just been recognized as a federating sport. But skating as a sport, for the past 15 years, sir, we've been pursuing this federation. Nobody has given us listening here. So by the time we heard that you are the chairman National Sport Commission, we just conclude that our prayer has been answered. I want to use this opportunity, sir, on my knees, sir, please. We need Skating Federation in Nigeria during this your tenure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, the man in black, and then I come to this lady. The man in black there. And then I know that people in the overflow have questions. We're going to come to you, even those in there. Okay, go ahead, the man in black.
Good evening, fellow Nigerians. My name is King David. I'm a progressive, and I'm also an international award-winning sports journalist. Sir, please, you were chairman of the LMC, and up till now, you're no longer there. But up till now, our league is average. What have you done differently? You've taken over the sports commission as chairman in, I think it's barely a year, and things have changed all of a sudden. So what differently have you done as compared to your time when you were LMC chairman?
Okay, thank you. The lady over there.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bobby Yetunde. I'm here to ask, sir. We all know that Nigeria has been known as giant of Africa.
With your hand.
Giant of Africa.
The fan.
Sir?
Like this.
Oh, careful with your hand with the fan.
You are doing like this with your hand. Be
Okay.
careful with it. The fan
We
is
all
next.
know that Nigeria has been known as giant of Africa, but now we only see the female coming up seriously than men. How can we do that to the men to bring back our giant of Africa?
Thank you. I want to take one question at the back. There are people in the overflow. You just came from the overflow. Okay. Okay, there's a...
Ronke is there.
No.
Hello, good
okay,
evening,
we'll
sir.
come to you. Yes. Overflow, is that an overflow question?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, sir.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Anete Patrick, and I'm a sport journalist. I work with Global Television. So, quick one. Chairman, sir, the president has shown his generosity to the Super Falcons after their win. And a lot of sports champions in different federations have been asking for the same gesture to be transferred to them. How are you putting in measures for that kind of gesture to be put back across to other sports winners? Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll take that answer. Or should I take one more? Okay, the gentleman here. I'll take you too, don't worry.
Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, and I'm standing on all existing protocols. My name is Ayola Akinwumi, and I'm a representative of the I Choose Life Foundation. I'm a recent graduate, and I like to call myself a sports psychologist. All right, and I would like to bring a different direction to all the conversations that we're having. So I studied human kinetics from the University of Lagos, and I've been involved in the 26th edition of NUGA Games, the recently concluded Federation of African University Games, FASU, on the 11th edition as well. The NUGA Games is also coming up. And I've been opportuned to carry out some researches on mental health and athletes, basically. While I know that exercise or sport have a very huge impact on the mental well-being of people, we also see that there's a huge gap that even those that are playing the sports themselves have a lot of issues. And for example, giving a perfect example, like the recent Chan, we see how that best form. We also believe that there is going to be a huge impact in terms of their mental well-being and how it's supposed to be. We see situations from the recently concluded Olympics of how that we hear one or two issues of registration, so people are not able to compete because of certain things. We believe that there are certain problems or challenges that can also impose on their mental well-being. So as a commission, is there any step that is being taken towards taking care of the mental well-being of athletes? And even if there is none, how can we further step forward into this? Personally, as a person, I have a lot of researches that I have taken with data proven. And recently, one of my work was taken for presentation at the World University Games Germany that recently concluded this July. And we see that mental health is a key thing that we really need to focus on. And as a country or a community, I think this is one aspect that we should focus on. So how do you say that the Commission can step into this? And if it's possible, can we come in to partner and work in these directions? Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think we'll stop there for now. We'll come back to you.
Well, I think the question about the skating, I think it's about process. Once you follow the process, I'm sure nobody will deny you the right to register a sports federation. I can tell you, we have taken bold steps even to help some sports to come in as a federation. For example, when we came in, the esports is the disarray, so many federations. We are able to pull them together and make sure we get them to work because it's very important. Esports is one of the key fundamentals going forward. So I'm sure it's not about 20 years or 15 years. Once you do the right thing, I'm sure you will get the right education to do that. I forgot what she asked there. I can speak to the person that spoke about the league and stuff like that. Well, it's a transition. It's a whole process. If you have followed the league, you know that when we took over the league in 2013, when I came on board, we came on a rescue mission. At that time, the league has problem, and we have to come on board to resolve it. And the work we did is what has brought us here today, because everybody's seen the positivity of what we did, in spite of the challenges and the issues at that particular point in time. That is why, as far back as 2016, for example, I was voted the Sport Personality of the Year by the Sun newspaper, Revived newspapers, and stuff like that. Why? Because there was a progression to what we are doing. If you check all the what we are trying to do with the league, to get the foundation, we have done what we have to do, and now we have to build on that. So what are we doing to support to make sure the league come back to what it is? All the years that I have been on the league, the problem of the league is not about the talent, it's not about everybody, it's about content. The TV. Once we can be able to get all our matches on TV, almost everything will be regularized, because people will see what we are doing, so the venues must be good. People will see the athletes, so the talent, they have to show what they have to do, and then that content can be monetized and money can go to the league. They can invest in the facilities, in the athletes, and everybody to do that. So the first thing we did, if you check our budget, you see that there is a clear budget line to see that we can work with the NTA to repair the reproduction equipment that we have that can be deployed to our sports, not just the league, because that's the foundation. Without TV, there's no money in sports. So we are working to get that done. Just last week when I was in London, we signed on interim agreement with IMG. IMG, they are the ones that set up the Premier League, and everybody, they are coming here to work with us to see how we can structure the league and set it properly and advise and get things done to do that. They did everything for the Premier League to be what they are today. They are still the one producing all the matches of Premier League until next year. So we want to tap on that channel, and we have gotten the right support, because I think the NNPC are willing to look at this project and support it and back it out to get that done. So that could be done. So we are working to see that we provide the foundation based on what we know about the league to make it what it's supposed to be, to get that done.
Thank you very much.
Sorry. You talk about that mental welfare. Well, that is why we have the Elite Athletes Development and Podium Committee. It's part of their mandate. They have to work with the athletes, especially the elite athletes. Make sure they're in the right frame of mind, they have the training, they have the right people working with them to get that. That is why the CEO of that board is a former captain of Team Nigeria, Yusuf Ali, who knows what is it to be in that kind of situation. We have Mary Onyali, for example, there, and we have the doctors, everybody involved, psychologists involved in all that board, so that we can put it there. And then if you look at what we are trying to do this year, we are investing heavily in our sports medicine department, including trying to bring back our clinics, build our center of excellence for the athletes also there. That will have, all these things will be there to do that. Recently, we tried to sign, already we are working to sign an understanding with the African Medical Center of Excellence in Abuja here, so that they can be working with our top athletes and everything, providing all these services to make sure our athletes have the best, and they are already mentally prepared to do that. And part of the work we are doing is to ensure that every team will have a psychologist. Every team that is traveling, national team, there may be psychologists, there may be all these people that will work with the athletes. But the issue is the manpower. The last meeting we are having with the Minister of Education, when we pull it out, the entire Nigerian universities as of today, right? We have only 15,800 people studying sports-related courses. Those people cannot graduate to serve 200 million people. So we have to also upscale that. And that is even why Mr. President took the bold decision to restructure the NIS, Nigerian Institute of Sports, by bringing an administrator in the former deputy governor of Edo State, who is now the DG, because we are all working now to bring back that institute to do what it's supposed to do, to give us the manpower that we need to service, train all these people that we need to do that. I can tell you, if now, for example, we wake up and make a decision with the Minister of Education that every primary school, every secondary school, before you are registered, you must have a PE teacher, you must have a psychologist, everything before you can be registered to have a school. We have already created over 1 million jobs, but where is the manpower? We have created the demand, there's no supply. So which one comes first? So we are working to sort the supply side. If that happens, it's just by legislation now we can create millions of jobs across the country. If every school, primary school, have 2 people doing PE and psychological training for the kids, how many primary schools we have in Nigeria? And those jobs are sports-related jobs. They are induced jobs from sports to do that. But, okay, how do you now sort the supply side of it? So we have to get the NIS working, get the work with the universities, because we have discussed that, to be offering short courses for the medical side from everywhere. Now we can have the right manpower that we need to support the growth that we are all trying to promote in the sporting industry.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Shehu, I'm coming, please. I'll take the gentleman in glass, yes. With the Hausa cap, yes. Yes, go ahead.
So I'll take a question for him. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm standing on existing protocols. I'm in the private sector, and my organization just signed a partnership with an international organization that is promoting digital sports globally. And for the first time, we are here in Nigeria. And my question is, are there initiatives or plans to support private organizations that are in the sports industry to hold tournaments, especially in technology-driven sports that are new, and trying to move the sports industry in Nigeria to a more, let's say, bigger level? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we take one person from the overflow, if there's any, before we come forward? Oh yeah, go ahead. Yes. Actually, I saw him coming from the overflow.
Good evening, everybody. All protocols duly observed. I want to really commend you, the Office of the APC National Youth Leader, for this wonderful program. But please, I want to just suggest, next time if you are inviting someone like, personally like Madam Shehu Dikko, we are going to use bigger place, because we are all choked up here. So going forward, my questions are maybe about 3. I want to say...
No, 1.
Okay, 1.
Sum it up.
I'm going to sum it up. Something has been happening recently and Nigerians are happy. National teams are going to do well and they are being rewarded. And all of a sudden, we just discovered that some set of Falcons that won laurels for Nigeria were not really rewarded. And Patience Abreu, who is based in the United States, raised the issue. And we also got to know that, okay, the president, according to what we are hearing, that they were going to now, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu will now host the host set of Falcons. Very good news. And I want Madam Shehu Dikko to kind of confirm to us. And again, I also discovered that Nigeria is so blessed with football talent, sport talents, not only football, in every aspect. But there's a big challenge. The challenge is facilities. We don't only have sporting facilities. In Abuja, for instance, we have 6 moribund sporting facilities. That is gone. And they're supposed to be under FCT. I'm talking about, there's one in Ushafa, my zone. There's one in Apo. There's about 6 of them, but they are gone. They're nothing. Then I want to see if there's possibility for these moribund sporting facilities to be revived. Finally, I was in United States for the FIFA Club World Cup. I saw MetLife Stadium, and I pray that Super Eagles will qualify. Because I cannot, Nigerians will not, I've been praying, a lot of us are praying. Sir, going forward, I know that NSC have strong synergy between NFF and NSC. Sir, what is the way forward concerning the preparations for the World Cup qualifier so that Super Eagles, I know that 4 games, anything can happen. At least let us win all our 4 games. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, where? On white, where? Oh, on what? We'll come to the front. I want to focus on those at the back. The gentleman in suit. No, don't worry. We're coming back here. I will come to you. And then if you can take written questions from the overflow, that would also be great so they don't have to come here. Go ahead.
Thank you so very much for the privilege. The impact of sports on health cannot be overemphasized. By name, I am Muhammad Abdul Qudus Jamiu, Senior Special Assistant to the NANS President on Medical and Health Student Matters. And I began my Aluta journey as Director of Sports for Ahmadu Bello University Medical Student Association. So I'm elated that today we are actually seeing the blend between sports, health, and education. Now, being the spokesperson and the representative of the Nigerian students here today, I am happy that the NCS has already considered revival of Nuga Games, Federal Games, and others, and are collaborating very well with the Ministry of Education. But there has always been an issue in Nigeria where, in the stance that games or programs are being held, and people want to be, there is need to co-opt people from the ground stage to the sports, to the actual level. People that will partake will be different, and people that will now be finally taken into the process are going to be entirely different. And this happens in all sectors. Now, I believe that for NANS, being the representatives and the voice of the students, is there any platform where the NANS are actually co-opted as part of the overseers of that process of bringing proper, fresh talents from the institutions proper into the sporting arena? And on a final note, is there any support or any initiative to actually support the studies on the health related courses that has to do with sporting in Nigeria so that we can have health professionals being hatched into NCS proper?
Thank you. We want to be able to wrap up because of those who are going to pray. So let's keep our question very short and concise. On this round, we'll take one more. It would answer, and we'll take the final round. That gentleman has been raising his hand, then I'll come to you. Yeah, the gentleman there. Can we, if we can take written questions from the other, for those on the other sides, go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Ife Onodavero, and my question is towards the motorsports industry. Now, we know that there is bids to bring Formula One to Nigeria, but then I really don't understand, since we really don't have a proper system where car racing has been encouraged. Mostly when I myself, I organize car racing events, you know, and this is not something that most people encourage, mostly when you seek for sponsorships and all that. So what plan do you have for us, the youths who organize car racing events, knowing that very soon, by God's grace, we are going to host Formula One in Nigeria?
Okay, I think that's all for this round, and we'll take a final round.
Well, I think the first one was talking about how to support the private sector. Well, we are here. Whatever you need to do, if you write us, we look at it and see, well, yeah, I can see you. We see what support we could do, we will do that. And Part of what I mentioned earlier is the fact that we are working also to have a proper legislation that will provide the incentives for the private sector investment or participation within the sport ecosystem. So we are working on that, and encouraging the private sector is one of the fundamentals of our own vision objectives. So definitely we are available. Whatever enablers we need to provide for you to do, if you are able to do it, we surely do it. If you can't do it, we'll advise you the best way to go about getting it done. Because at the end of the day, it's about the sport. It's about the ecosystem being energized and to work, to get it to work. And I think the second one is about, you talk about awards, talk about infrastructure and the Super Eagles. Well, the awards, Mr. President have set the pace, have set the tone. And I mentioned earlier that clearly we are now trying to work to bring a standard framework that will drive this process going forward. So everybody will know clearly what is in play for everybody. I can tell you, even in the last budget cycle, the NSC tried to put in the budget a sum of money to be looking after our former coaches and athletes that have won laurels for Nigeria. And still, I believe going forward, that budget line will be available. Because if somebody have won that green, white, green, and deliver laurels in Nigeria, in the future, we shouldn't sit down and watch them live in ruins just like that. We should be able to intervene at some point. It's very sad to see somebody who has done very well for Nigeria and now lying in a hospital and looking for support or to go out. Yes, even though when they were playing, I believe the government and everybody have paid them their dues, so that nobody's owing them anything to pay. But at least for the service you have done, for the happiness you have brought to the country should always get your back also in the future, no matter what happens. So that is being worked out. Yes, there is this conversation that the president should look at the people that have done there before, because they laid the foundation, especially in women football. Nigeria used to be a pace setter on that, in the whole of Africa to do that. So, but, you know, why do you stop if you start? So at the end of the day, it's at the discretion of Mr. President to decide what he wants to do or how he wants to go about it. Ours is to advise as a professionals, and we have to be measured in doing this advice. We have to be realistic about it. If you say you start doing that, you have to roll back, I don't know how many years. But yes, at some point, those that have done very well for the country have to be identified. They don't have to be given money. They can get the national award, that recognition of the service to the country. That national award can open doors for you more than what the money that will be given for to do that. So I'm sure at the end of the day, if the framework is ready, if the president is ready to do what he has to do, people will know. We have had a conversation with those people as well and discussed that. So it's not a problem. But we shouldn't make it to look like a mandatory. It's about the president's discretion at this time of the day, because he wants to energize the industry to work. For example, I've seen people now trying to create political negativity over the Falcons, for example, that they have not been paid, this one, that. That is very, very unfair on the president to do that, because the Falcons played a tournament. There is clear bonuses and this that they are supposed to get, and those bonuses that they were supposed to get, they were paid 100%. Everything they were supposed to get from that tournament, even before they played the final. It's not like because so that has been paid. Now I know, we paid. 100% they were paid, all their bonuses and the camp allowances and everything. So they have earned, that's their legitimate money. And the president directed and approved that they should be paid even before they played the final, and they were paid. Including even the final match that they have not played, they were paid the money. So that has been sorted. The gifts Mr. President provided and everything is at the discretion of the president. He didn't say, I will pay tomorrow, I will pay the next day, or I will pay whatever, but definitely they will be paid. And what we did on that one, immediately the president made that pronouncement, the next 2 days, all the account numbers of the players were collected, their addresses were collected, and a schedule was done of who gets what, this is their address, and sent to Mr. President to direct. They should be paid. The money should be paid direct to their accounts, not even through any third party, and also direct the Minister of Housing to issue the land with their addresses, and also direct the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs to issue the national award to their addresses. That has been done. So it's going through the mill, before anybody even asks about it, has been done. Both Falcons, the Tigers, and everybody was done. Even the Tigers, for example, I want to go there, because they too, the Tigers, sorry about it. Those two also have their own bonuses agreed. If you win the tournament, this is what you will get. The moment they came back to Abuja, they all received 100% what was agreed as their legitimate winning bonus for the tournament that has been paid to them. Whatever president is paying to them is the bonus that the president, at his own discretion, gave them. So people should not go and start making it look like something that is, this president will not allow this thing to go beyond what is necessary. The process will have to follow. Because even if, for example, people now know that the president just say they should be paid money today and the next day they carry money and give them, people should be worried. Because there has to be process. There has to be documentation. Or there has to be records. Otherwise, what kind of government are we running? That they will just say pay 100,000 the next day, carry 100,000. There has to be a process where collect the accounts, do the process, go to Minister of Finance, go to audit, go into the list of vouchers. So there will be records of who gets what and everything. That's how government is run. People should not. I've just digressed to make that provision because about the award issue here. About Super Eagles, yes, we are doing what we have to do. We are supporting the NFL. We are collaborating. Before I came here, I'm just having a meeting with the NFL president, planning for the next matches. We have to wait to see what happens, especially with the punitive majors with South Africa. If that goes on our favor, it means it's back in our hands. We win our 4 matches, we get there. I can tell you, every time I meet with the president, he will ask me, are we going to qualify? Because he's more interested, like anybody like you, wants us to qualify. He's passionate about it. He's more interested about it. At some point, he's wanted to even put a task force to help push this qualification. But at the end of the day, Nigerians have to measure up their own ambitions. Let's just win our next 4 matches and then see what that will take us at the end of the day. Because the problem already started a long time ago before we came on board, before the president started getting involved with it. But everything that needs to be done is being done. And the same thing with that also, the Super Eagles. We agreed a new bonus system with them for these qualifiers. We agree with them, agree what to do with them. The match against Rwanda, as they finished the match, before they even take shower, their money was on the table. The match they play against Zimbabwe, before they even played the match, the money was paid them up front. We did that. It has never happened like that before. To make sure that this thing, everybody does what they have to do. So, we as a government, with the backing of Mr. President, we are doing all that we have to do to make sure that we provide the enablers for the team to succeed. The next is the team. And I'm very, very glad. The day after Mr. President issued the gratis for the Falcons, the first message I received in the morning was from the captain of the Super Eagles. Say, bro, we have seen this, we too will deliver. So that's the motivation we are looking for what the president is doing. Now the Super Eagles also knew, because this World Cup qualification now is as good as final matches we are playing. I'm sure if we deliver this World Cup ticket, the president will be so excited, and only God knows what, in his own discretion, will do for the team to support them to make sure we will do better at the World Cup. So we are okay with that.
Thank you very much. Last set of questions will be a bit longer than the others.
Oh, okay. There's somebody that spoke about the inclusion of NAS. Well, NAS is part of the system with the schools. So it's for you to go and work with the NUGA teams and make sure you are part of what NUGA is doing. What we are trying to do is to create, we are even working to create a national tertiary institution sports federation where we bring NUGA, we bring the NAPOGA, everything into one federation so we can make it sustainable. But at the end of the day, it's your own job to engage them at that level to make sure you are part of it. Somebody spoke about the motorsport. The motorsport we are doing here is about economy. It's about the economy of sports. It's not about just the motor racing or stuff like that. If you are doing the motorsport in Nigeria the way you want to do it, you have to build entirely almost a new district where there will be the racing tracks, and then also there will be other economic infrastructure that will come around it. So that's the vision about it. It's about economy. It's not just about to host motor racing and say we are hosting Formula One. No, it creates an economy that will be sustainable. If now you get about 100 hectares, 200 hectares and do the racing track and they build the hotels, build the convention centers, build the shopping malls, build everything, you have created another economy that won much after. People will love to live there. Those residences might be the expensive residences that we live in Abuja, like Monaco, for example, if you do that. And we have the possibility to do that. So we are looking at it as an economy, not just as a motor racing. Yes, to help the federation, of course, we are ready to do that. If you come together and pull yourself together and see why we can support, we are ready to do that, definitely.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'll take the gentleman with the red cap. The red cap chief.
Good day, sir. My name is Ifeanyi Ofodu Raymond. I'm with PEBEC, Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, under the Vice President Office. So I would like to know, how can we work with you to create an enabling business environment for sports companies, private sectors that would like to invest? Because I know the major problem for us not to expand in our sports sector is because major private sectors are not in the business, just like you have in Europe. So if there are guideline steps that we can come in, then I will be happy to hear that so that we can take it forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll take the gentleman with the other red cap, the Yoruba red cap.
Not red. Thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to commend the chairman of the National Sports Commission for what he has done. And I also want to do a follow-up on the last question that I asked when Senator Habiru was here regarding the sports infrastructures in Nigeria. You have said a lot of things, and somebody last time talked about the facilities management. But when we don't have the required sports infrastructures, it becomes a challenge. And the ones that we currently have is also, they are in a moribund state. I believe that the Sports Commission should please take a bold step in giving a standard to what kind of sport complexes can be built. Because the response of the Senator Abiru, the last time he was on this kind of seat here, said that the National Assembly members are also proposing to build sport infrastructures across board. But we have seen different kinds of sport infrastructures that could not even meet the standard that's supposed to be. And if all these things is amounts to waste of resources, if we are able to achieve this, you talked about providing jobs for sport enthusiasts in secondary schools and psychologists. That will also give room to provide more jobs for facility managers. Because if all these infrastructures are provided, and they are not even well managed, it gives it's like a waste of resources. That can be done through public-private partnership. I am talking about this because I used to say it from my experience. I had a little experience in Egypt where they address various unrest through sports centers. The minister for sports there highlighted that they had about 5,000 sports centers, and they are half of Nigerian population. So please, I want to appeal on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Ronke, you had a question. Okay. Thank you. I will come to you.
Yeah,
No, we'll come in this way. So that back, we'll take the gentleman at the back, then we take Camille.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. My question goes to Malam Dikko. And I'm asking this question because I'm a quantity surveyor and I know he's a quantity surveyor too. So, sir, my question goes thus. As a quantity surveyor, sir, how do you plan to leverage your expertise to address the opposition often faced from engineers in managing the cost of sports infrastructure projects? And
Can you talk like that?
okay, I said, as a quantity surveyor, sir. So how do you plan to leverage your expertise to address the opposition faced from engineers in managing cost of sports infrastructure projects? And I would like to know if you have been involving quantity surveyors in infrastructure matters. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The gentleman with the Arabian,
My name is Ibrahim Hamisu from Katsina State. I'm from Katsina Follow Club. So my question is that As a chairman of National Sport Commission, I want to ask him what are the roles or what are the differences between Ministry of Sport and the National Sport Commissions. I want him to highlight some key differences. First, and secondly is that he's talking about sport, and we, the people that were playing follow, I did not hear from him that
Polo is a rich man game now. Don't be from
it's a sport, sir. It's also a sport. And you know that I'm the APC camel rider. So me too, I'm going to organize camel racing. Yes, camel racing. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Madam Ronke, I think, okay, you've done. So Otumba, please, and then we'll come to the tiger.
I want to stand on the already existing protocols. But mine is just like an advice to the chairman of the NSC. When I made the DG sometimes, I also gave him the same advice. I want you to take the advantage of the passion of our current president. I am much more particular about these school sports. So about 40 years ago, as a school teacher and as a sport officer, most of these things you have highlighted were also on the table, but nothing was done. But today, we can see Mr. President, who has given the opportunity to the National Sports Commission, including the NIS. And I feel he wants the best for our country. A passionate president will always go for passionate projects and everything that goes with it. The primary school pupils, we have several of them who you can't even believe they can do what they are doing. You have said it that you want to graduate them to special school in the secondary school and also to the university. Today, I am sitting as a member of the governing council of a federal university. So I know what I'm saying. From primary to secondary to university, Nigeria is lacking, and we are lacking so many talents that are supposed to be doing Nigerian proud. So as you are seated, I know the president will have seen who you are, what you can do. Please, passionately, kindly use this passion of Mr. President to allow us to leverage on that primary school institution. Don't rely so much on your relationship with the Ministry of Education. I'm saying it because that has been my line. It is from your own passion that we can get what you want. And I pray that God will assist you.
Thank you very much. I think I'll take a final question. The night is fast spent. From Ortega the Tiger.
Thank you very much, our national youth leader. Chairman, sir, thank you so much. I mean, I've known you for almost 15 years now. In the private sector, I could see the work you were doing. We used to have those meetings then. And when Mr. President appointed you, I was one of those that was very happy because you're a round peg in a round hole. And your presentation today has shown that. So that we don't forget, we are talking to young people here. And it's very important that we know how we can come in to support. How can we volunteer? How can we help in getting this across the line? Because I see you, we speak almost every day. You're working 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and I know it's not easy for you. So we want to know how we'll be able to participate. I don't have a problem with that because your doors are always open to me. And I'm sure your doors are also open to the millions of Nigerian youth, represented here today. So please let's know that. And two, I see a lot of infrastructure projects going on in government for housing and all that. One thing that I've noticed that is missing is the inclusion of sporting facilities at the community level in all those projects. How do you intend to work with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development to integrate that in those places? Because the next Usain Bolt, the next Ashisha Toshola and the rest would come from those sort of places. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think I'm going to have... yes, okay.
Of sports from IBI is there.
Behind, yes.
Give him.
Yes.
My commissioner of sports from IBI. I don't know why he's sleeping here without telling anybody. The commissioner of sports from IBI.
Thank you, sir. My name is Mobila Nava, the Honorable Commissioner for Sports and Youth Development in Abia State.
Thank you for coming to the youth house.
Thank you. So, sir, let me first of all commend you for the good job you're doing in sports. Your vision is game-changing. First of all, what you're doing in grassroots development in terms of catching them young, developing them, is amazing. The fruit will come very soon. But I want you to leverage, if you have a plan for our coaches, to upskill them so that it can impact on the young ones. Because if you look at the young ones, if we're not upskilling our coaches, we'll be stale. We need to give them tactical training so that they will continue to impact very well. And second of all, on the business side of sports, I'm so happy that you mentioned broadcasting rights. If you deliver that, it will be none of our athletes will go to Europe to participate. They will rather stay here because broadcasting is why we have too much money in sports in Europe. That is a big thing. So please keep it up and deliver that for us. It will be amazing. I also want to ask you if you can also look into sports merchandising so that we can start producing, leveraging what is happening in our bar to produce sports wear here. The boots, there's a big market for it. 200 million Nigerians, very passionate. And also we have other African small countries that we can leverage on and sell. So if you can look into sports merchandising, it will be amazing stuff. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I have, let me take one of this that came online. What are the chances of qualifying for World Cup? And what efforts have you since you're coming to office, even though we knew the situation was bad before you came? That's one of the questions I got. I think the gentleman behind me has a question. We'll take him as a final question.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. All right, my name is Timmy. 3 years ago, during the campaign, I had to travel down to my state, my village, Jebugu. And during the voting, when we were voting actually, and I found out that most people in my side are playing football more. They do more football than book. I mean, the younger generations. So I now thought to myself, I said, okay, let me do a competition. So I said, okay, no problem. I now I funded it, 1 million naira to the winner. It has never been done. So I said, okay, fine, let's do it. So I just dropped the money down. And I've not told my leader this, but to my surprise, the whole 7 villages came. I was like, okay, this is good. Now, what is the way forward for me? I'm going to the question now. What's the way forward for me now? I had to call the guy that did my best man on my wedding day, who was managing Kelechi Enacho before they had their issues. And I said, what can we do to help these guys? He said, I told him they are talent. And before he said Jack Robinson, he said, okay, let's see how we can be able to develop them. But that's past gone now. My question, sir, for you is, what can we do to these younger generations? You know, they have this skill, they have everything. What can we do to help them, either to give them free education? I mean, you know, in the UK and the US rather, they use CBTA for that. So what can we do, sir, you know, to help them? You know, if
at the community level.
Exactly, sir. So that's my question, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Wow. Okay. Actually, let me start. I think with the ease of doing business, right? When we are open and you can engage us, and I can tell you, sports, that's what we call also in sports, that's part of the value chain that sports created, what we call diplomatic wealth and economic wealth. Diplomatic wealth is to now put the country in the perspective where people want to work with the country, want to come with the country, including investors. It's part of what we are doing with the hosting we are doing. And also the economic wealth is now looking at the investors to do that. Let me tell you something. Just yesterday, because we had a program that we say we are going to create what we call sports cities. Because as part of the economy of sports, we have to create the sports cities. And you can't just build a stadium like this and leave it fallow until the day you are doing matches. You go and open it, clean it up, and play a match and lock it up. With all that vast land and everything there, you can turn it to a mini city. So that's what we call the sports city all over the world to do that. So we say we will start with Abuja. We are now on the preparatory stage to create the platform, to know what we have available, bring the investors, because there has to be a hotel there has to be a shopping mall, there has to be an event center, an arena, offices, residences, cinemas, everything. So that 24/7, that stadium will be the hub where economic activities are all rolling by. That's how you should do it. And we say, well, you do in Abuja, we will do in Kaduna, we will do in Ibadan, we will do in Lagos. In Lagos, we are working with the private sector already. We are going through the process to hand it over to the private sector, who will now turn it to another sports city. Imagine you build an arena within the Lagos Stadium. That is at the center of Lagos. You can go here, all at the center. It means all the major events in Lagos will likely be happening there to do that. So Abuja, the same thing. In Ibadan too, we have the Obafemi Awolowo Stadium. We are working with the state government to create the same platform. In Kaduna, we are working with the Kaduna state government. Ahmadu Bello Stadium have the same kind of land that we could do the same thing. So just yesterday, we have investors that came from Singapore. We met at the SGF office. It was the SGF that chairs the meeting. The SGRC were there and everything. They are proposing to put investment of almost $2.6 billion, which is subject to further discussion and what have you. But they make a very beautiful presentation to build a 5-star hotel, a conference center, everything within the stadium. That will make it. So now we are already in the process. We have experts working. So that is what we can work together to see what we could do. Then the last time we had a meeting with the Vietnam ambassador? Is the Vietnam ambassador who invited? There's one sport like that in Vietnam that they want to bring it to Nigeria. The president of the whole federation came here. Vietnam ambassador, even the leader here was part of trying to get me to that meeting with the ambassador, and I went to that meeting, and the person come. It's not about sport alone already. They want to also use that opportunity of sports to build a business cluster in Nigeria, where they bring all the major companies from Vietnam to set up factories and everything. But it's sports that is driving that. So there are a lot we could do together on that perspective in doing that. Somebody talk about sport infrastructure management and development. What I can tell you is that as part of the reforms we are doing, we are creating what we call the National Sports Infrastructure Management and Development Board. It will be an agency under the Sport Commission, and their job is to ensure that all our sporting infrastructure are managed very well, and then also they license all the sport infrastructure that is being constructed in Nigeria. You can't just wake up and consult any sport infrastructure you want without anybody looking at what we are doing and giving you the specification and the support to make sure it works for the community to do that. Somebody will give you a license. You can't, for example, even to set up a gym, for example, if you go to Europe now, you can't just go and rent this building and set up a gym in London. You must go somewhere and get approval. But here today we can decide to close this shop and turn it to a gym and start training people. So somebody has to be a board that clearly does that, and also invite the private sector and also manage those infrastructures to do that. So that is the board that we are creating to ensure that those sport infrastructure will be certified till it's certified by that board, that is in compliance, it is in the right way, it is whatever it is done to do that. Yes, we are talking with the National Assembly, we are building everywhere for them, but those buildings should be done in line to those specifications that meet the requirements of the sporting infrastructure to do that. Somebody is about the QS and QS and the facilities. Well, that one is a professional issue. I think it's not a forum for this issue. The QS and the engineers will all have to work together to deliver a project. So we will leave it at that. But what I can tell you is that even in my commission, I have fellows of the NIQS who are part of our facility department, because we have a facility department also that runs the facilities. We have architects there, we have QS there, we have builders there, and we have the best qualified people that are working there. So we are using them, everybody, to the best of their professional competence to make sure we deliver what we have to do. Somebody talk about Ministry of Sports and Commission. Well, I mentioned earlier that the president's words was that sports doesn't need bureaucracy. If you subsume the sports now under ministry, it means everything we are doing has to follow the civil service and the ministry procedure and the way they do things. But as a sport commission, it's a professional body. It means you run as a professional body, you run as a quasi-private sector, and the reporting channels has been cut off because commission reports only to the president, and the president sign off and do whatever he wants to do. Let me give you an example when you have the ministry. Anybody from anywhere can wake up and be appointed as Minister of Sport. And that's what we've been doing for the past 20 years. You see a Minister of Sport, the day he leaves the sport ministry, you will never see him in sports again because it's not his passion. He's just a tour of duty. He doesn't understand what it is. Anybody, if you have a ministry, anybody can be appointed a permanent secretary. They can move a permanent secretary from petroleum to sports.
Or health.
From health to sports. Then at some time you find out the permanent secretary and the minister have no business with sports, have no passion with sports. So how could the two people who are supposed to lead the process don't have the passion, don't understand what it is? So now with the commission now, you have to be a professionally minded and professionally competent somebody in sports administration and management to be the chairman, and likewise the director general. You know, the chairman replaces the minister, the DG replaces the permanent secretary. So now you find out both the DG and both my DG, Bukola Alapade, everybody knows him in sports, everybody knows us together in sports. So we speak the same language. That's why you see, since we came in, we speak to the athletes on the same language because we understand the language, we are part of the system. So it has to be professional. And then as a commission now, we are allowed to employ our staff, we are allowed to sack our staff. So if I employ you today as a commissioner, I will give you KPIs. If you don't meet those KPIs, I will sack you. So you must deliver. But if you are in the ministry, you are just posted from the head of service office, I can't even discipline you. If you do something wrong, I have to report to the head of service, and that will take forever. So everybody does what they like and what have you. You can wake up in the ministry, anybody can be posted there. Say, I'll be posted for the head of service to come and take over this role. Whether you love sports, whether you understand it, you are there. But now those things has been removed and everything is out of there. So we should commend the president for taking this bold decision to get it that way. And from the new direction and the positive outcomes we are seeing, you can see that decision is actually the right decision to go about sports. Well, you say we should take advantage of the passion of the president. Of course, definitely. He's the one driving everything we are doing. He's the Oga Kotokota. He's the one, we are working for him. Everything we are doing, we have to take him to him to sign it off, to get it done. You can tell me, assuming if we have to go through the bureaucracy to do this $100,000 for the people and everything, will that work? Is there anybody that will pass the file and say, go and pay these people $100,000? But the president now can easily discuss with the people in charge and confirm that is the right way and get it done. And definitely that is why you are seeing the changes and whatever is happening because we are there. And definitely we use that. You know, the president is a long-term person, so we are not doing this for today. We are putting the infrastructures and the sustainability that will make this thing, even after we leave, the system will succor. So that's why even the National Sport Commission law is being updated to create all these agencies we are talking about. That is the Early Development Board, the Sports Infrastructure Development and Management Agency, the Arbitration Panel, the Sport Development Fund, all will be part of the new National Sport Commission law. So it will be institutionalized that whether we are here or not, these things work their way out, and then sports will be very, very sustainable in that aspect. And volunteers and community facilities, well, definitely is something that we will do. We are ready. Anybody who feels has something to contribute can approach us. We discuss at the appropriate time. If we have the right opportunity, we'll actually engage. I think when we hosted the last African athletics in Abeokuta, we got volunteers as far as Gombe to move to Abeokuta to help. She is in charge of the volunteers and everything and the protocol. And she did a very, very amazing job in getting that done. So from all over Nigeria, we get youth to come and participate and have ideas and learn how to get sports. So from there, they can be able to make sports administration their pathway to their career to do that. Of course, the community facilities is part of the vision. I mentioned something about it. We work to get that done and sorted. You talk about grassroots coaches and everything. Already I've spoken about the NIS. The reason why the NIS was restructured is to be able to bridge that gap so that we can train as much coaches, as much technical people across sports, across several disciplines. That will make it work like that. Yes, you talk about merchandising. Merchandising is the future. You should have told the people that the commission and your government are working with IBR state government to create what we call a special economic sports zone in IBR state. That special economic development zone for sports is to create a platform where all the best people will come and set up the factories there that will produce, use the ABBA capabilities and produce the merchandise, produce the JCs, produce everything that will serve not just Nigeria but the West African market. And that economic zone is already being discussed with the governor and everybody to do that. It's part of the long-term vision that we are working on. World Cup qualification, I've already explained that and get that done, so no need to go over that. Hopefully, with God on our side, Nigerians are always at our best when our back is pushed against the wall. And I believe the Super Eagles, when they come in for the last 4 matches in September and October, they will surprise everybody, God willing, to make sure that we deliver. The talent that you mentioned, the boys that are all over the country, that's why we are creating all these programs and all these school sports and sustainability. It's to create a pathway. There should be a pathway where the talent, at age 8, we can identify the talent, and then we can monitor and follow the progress. But now we are only working in the dark. Those that are lucky, they can be found during scouting programs. Those that are not, they filter away. But when we sustain this process like that and create the pathway, then it's easy to now create that. And this pathway is not just about the schools. There has to be also the academies and everything as part of the plan, where people will be encouraged to set up proper academies and proper support system where we can absorb those talents that are not in school and they can go to the right perspective. The gymnastic people that we hosted today, they're from the club, gymnastic club. They went to South Africa with their parents' support, and they won all the medals, and they came back today and we hosted them. So that's what we want to see at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Shehu Dikko, the National Chairman of the National Sport Commission of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's been a wonderful time having you here. It's been an honor interacting with you for the last 1 or 2 hours plus. At this junction, we would like to present to you a small gift from the youth wing of the party. And we want you to put this in your office. It has your party on one side, and it has your photo on the other side. But that's not all. For all the work that you've been doing, for all the innovations that you've brought in the sports sector, we're honored to present to you this award for outstanding contribution to sports development. Can I ask all the presidential aides and all the VIPs here to please join us on the stage as we present this award to the chairman of the National Sport Commission. The award for outstanding contribution to sport presented to Dr. Shehu Dikko, the chairman National Sport Commission, in recognition of your outstanding leadership and unwavering dedication to advancing sport development, nurturing young talent, and shaping the future of athletes in Nigeria. You serve as an inspiration to the next generation of champions. Thank you, Dr. Shehu Dikko. Thank you very much. Now we're going to take a quick group picture on the stage. Careful, careful. Don't fall.
Wow, what a night it has been. What a fantastic evening with Malam Shehu Dikko. I hope we had a nice time. I hope we learned one or two. We want to thank you, sir, for coming out tonight. We want to thank you for sharing your time, your wisdom, and your vision with us tonight. Your presence has made this evening totally special. Very, very, very special. Your presence has made tonight a unique one. We have learned a lot from you, sir, and we want to say thank you to you.
I also want to say a very thank you to all our performers and distinguished guests who contributed to this wonderful evening. And of course, to each of every one of you, our amazing audience, your passion for sports is what makes events like this possible. Thank you, and thank you again.
On behalf of the organizing committee, we want to thank everyone for tonight. We hope you leave here feeling inspired, optimistic about the future of sports in Nigeria. And with this, we want to say good night. We want to say thank you, and thank you.
Please let's rise for the national anthem before we leave the arena.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming, sir. We wish all of you a good night. Thank you.